Hello, it's a new NFL season is finally upon us, and these are my predictions for the 2016 NFL season. Hello everybody, and welcome to my brand new show called Big Predictions. Now, I've recently just started this show. It's going to be about my predictions for the entire NFL season. And heck, I might even expand it to other sports as well. Just leave your suggestions for sports in the comment section and let me know. Alright, without further ado, let's get to my Week 1 preview and comments. Start off Week 1, of course, which in a game that I feel is getting a little bit overhyped. The Super Bowl rematch between the Panthers and the Broncos, of course, in Denver. It's going to be an interesting game, definitely. You got Carolina, you got their veterans, and plus they have Calvin Benjamin back. It's going to be an interesting game. Of course, Denver, the big story there, of the new quarterback, Trevor Siemian. Really? I never even heard. Who's heard of him? I mean, honestly. You know, they do have Paxton Lynch, the rookie, but, of course, they've gone with the Siemian guy. But, of course, Denver's defense is also pretty solid, too. But I'm still going with Carolina on this one, with the return to Calvin Benjamin and Cam Newton. Still there. I mean, he's a veteran now. Been there a few years. I'm going with Carolina over Denver. Go to the Sunday games now, with the first game being the Falcons and the Buccaneers. The Bucs, you know, they have some pretty decent offensive guys. You know, Jameis Winston in his second year. Guys. The Falcons, they're still pretty high. They still have some pretty good veterans on their team, all around defense and offense. So I'm taking the Falcons over the Bucs, Week 1. Next game, the Vikings and the Titans. The big story out of Minnesota being Teddy Bridgewater. Last week, going down with an injury. Torn ACL, out for the year. And there was a big question concerning who would be the starter in Minnesota. Until just a couple days ago, Sam Bradford was traded to Minnesota from Philadelphia. You know, Sam Bradford being the quarterback he is, I mean, let's be honest, he's not that good. But Minnesota, they still do have Adrian Peterson. I think you could see a lot of reps being taken from Adrian Peterson this year. So that's why I'm taking the Vikings over the Titans. The Titans, yeah, they have some offensive weapons in DeMarco Murray and Derrick Henry, their rookie. But I'm still taking the Vikings over the Titans. Next game, the Browns and the Eagles. Did not take much difficulty here. You know, the Browns are the Browns. They'll be rebuilding forever, let's be honest. And the Eagles, well, they're in the weak NFC East. But, you know, it doesn't take much to beat the Browns. So that's why I'm going Philadelphia over Cleveland. Next game, the Bengals and the Jets. Cincinnati, of course, coming off once again another one-and-done playoff run. The Jets, they just missed the playoffs. So, I'm going, of course, Cincinnati. They still have good defense, good all-around guys on defense and offense, especially offense with A.J. Green and Andy Dalton. But the Jets, they have Ryan Fitzpatrick and Chris Ivory, but I think the Bengals are going to take this one. I'm going with the Bengals over the Jets. The next game, the Raiders at the Saints. The Raiders, they have some pretty good guys. Derek Carr coming off a pretty good season. Latavius Murray, pretty good running back out of there. And, of course, Amari Cooper and Michael Crabtree on that Raiders team. But I'm thinking the Drew Brees-led Saints. I think they're going to take it from Oakland. I'm taking the Saints over Oakland in New Orleans. On now, we go to the Chargers and the Chiefs. The Chargers, yeah, they have Phillip Rivers and Antonio Gates, but let's be honest, they're still in rebuilding. The Chiefs, on the other hand, they have a team led by Alex Smith with a really good offensive squad. And of course, last year, after their season unfortunately came to an end in New England, after the great run that they had, I think they're a pretty big favorite in the AFC. That's why I'm taking the Chiefs over the Chargers, Week 1. Game, the Bills at the Ravens. The Bills, you know, Tyrod Taylor, LaShawn McCoy, they've been on the field a while. On the other hand, with the Ravens, Joe Flacco's just coming back from an injury. You know, Joe Flacco, yeah, he's a pretty decent quarterback, but coming back from injury once again, he's probably rusty. That's why I'm taking the Bills over the Ravens. Next game we got the Bears and the Texans. Once again, not a very difficult game to call. The Bears, they're a weak team in the NFC, let's be honest. And the Texans, you know, they had their playoff run until they got blown out by Kansas City. So that's why but I'm still going to take the Texans over the Bears. The Bears, yeah, they're weak. The Texans, they're not as weak. So the Texans over the Bears. Next game, the Packers and the Jaguars. Another not-so-tough game. The Packers, they have Jordy Nelson back after out last season with a torn ACL. And the Jaguars, well, they've still been rebuilding for years. Aaron Rodgers is the favorite target back, taking the Packers over the Jaguars. Next game, the Dolphins and the Seahawks. Another not-so-tough game. You know, the Dolphins, they've been improving, let's be honest. They've been gradually improving over the last few years. But the Seahawks, they're coming off 4 straight playoff runs. So, the Seahawks, naturally I'm going to take, especially with the game being in Seattle. So, the Seahawks over the Dolphins. Next game, my team, the Giants, taking on the Cowboys in Dallas once again. Of course, the Cowboys, biggest story out of there, Tony Romo hurt for probably at least week 6. And, of course, that leaves the rookie Dak Prescott and another rookie, Ezekiel Elliott, to practically lead that team. Of course, you still have Jess Bryant, but let's be honest, he still can't catch shit. So, and the Giants, yeah, they made some off-season acquisitions, and I think those are going to pay off. I'm taking the Giants over the Cowboys. Next game, the last Sunday afternoon game, the Lions at the Colts. The Lions, another weak NFC team. The Colts, a weak AFC South team coming out of a weak AFC South division. But I'm going to take the Colts in this one. You know, the Lions, they don't have Megatron anymore. And they're left with what? Matthew Stafford, who, let's be honest, he's not a very good quarterback. So the Colts over the Lions, week 1. This next game here was probably the most difficult game I had. It's the Sunday night game. England in Arizona. You know, it was a pretty difficult game. Yeah, he's out for 4 weeks. But Jimmy Garoppolo, you know, he put up good numbers in the preseason. So, but with that being, and the Patriots still have their good offensive weapons. But the Cardinals, on the other hand, they have everybody. They have the Carson Palmer-led offense with Larry Fitzgerald, and they actually have a pretty decent offensive squad. So that's why I'm taking the Cardinals over the Patriots Sunday night. Now, week 1 wraps off, as usual, with a Monday night doubleheader. First game being the Steelers at the Redskins. Well, the Steelers, they're predicted to be a AFC powerhouse this year, and they're one of the favorites to win the AFC. So, I'm taking the Steelers over the Redskins. The Redskins, let's be honest, they're in a weak NFC East division. So, I'm taking the Steelers over the Redskins. Last game of the week 1 is Los Angeles at San Francisco. 2 teams that are not very strong, let's be honest. But Los Angeles, they do have some pretty good depth. Tavon Austin, Todd Gurley. They're pretty good, along with Nick Foles, who's decent. The 49ers, on the other hand, Blaine Gabbert. He's an alright quarterback, but under the Chip Kelly era. So I'm taking Los Angeles over the 49ers Monday night. And that concludes all my picks for week 1. Come back next Wednesday, and I will review my week 1 predictions, see what I got right, see what I got wrong, and I will also make my predictions for week 2. Good night, everybody.